This is my third.
I don't know. I hope it's.
I love all
that.
the big one.
Yeah.
Aw.
Rust.
Yes.
Don't do
That's
that.
a new top.
This,
Well, it's fairly new. I got it last year, so it's a little big. But it's like, well, I can wear it for art.
Yes.
And
I
I
don't know
honestly,
why.
I'll
I
treat
just
this,
always have
and it'll
And
be
I
fine.
took this class
Aw.
at the
Okay.
Horse Museum. And it
So
was-
now you look at
and it was called Houses
what
and
direction
Homes,
do you
Spirits
want
and
that
Stuff.
highlight?
It was all
Mhm.
about,
Yes.
oh my gosh. But ever since then,
You have such a light touch.
I remember trying to draw.
Yeah.
You can pull it up. I really need to practice the light touch.
Things that we really wanted to finish. So
You know, I'm not even
things
minding.
like he
that
has to
right
go
there,
upside
that's-
down, and
Right.
outside of our deck. It's really high. He has to get on the
Yeah.
ladder to do that.
Okay, when I'm looking at this,
We've done
I
all the
don't.
projects I can
I
have.
want to change that a little bit.
I'm like,
Mhm.
now,
So
like,
I'm gonna, before I do the rose,
draw
I'm gonna.
every day. So I get that.
I need to get back to it. 'Cause
All I did is wet my brush. I didn't think I was gonna do that, but I'm not. I didn't like the.
Fuzzy.
The solid.
I didn't like the solid. I don't know if I like that either, because I don't really want to do the. Nah.
You don't want to make it like a.
I don't really want to make it like it's a fence, because it really is. But
If you take, yeah, I was gonna say,
lift some of that up just to add more light.
yeah.
And I
You
need
gotta-
to add.
You gotta come back.
I need to
You have
add
to come
more
back here, Carrie.
light.
Yeah,
You
Lean
really,
back.
you need to lean back. Like, see it, like if you could see it where I see it,
Uh-huh.
I think that did a lot
Yes.
for it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
Did
that
a
better.
whole lot for it. It's really pretty with that light color up in that area.
Okay, I like that better, and I don't mind seeing some of the canvas up underneath
yeah, no, it's good to me.
because I'm looking at in there,
Oh,
and I'm all right. Okay, all right. So now the fun part comes is okay. I'm going to start laying in
can I
some.
tell you something?
Yeah.
That bottom leaf that you put the white on, there's something not right about the shape of the leaf. I think it's because where it comes together at the rose,
Right
there's
here?
a slightly darker spot at the top, right where you are, but go to
Oh,
the
right
top
there.
of that leaf. That makes it seem like it's bending, and it doesn't it look weird to anybody else besides me?
Well, you talk about that part right there.
Yeah, and like right in here, it goes in that little part in there, pulls it like it's going in. You know what? Up close, it looks good. Back here, it looks like it's not really a rose leaf. So, like, I can't tell you why it doesn't look like a rose leaf, but something about the bend of it.
I don't know. I'll
Because
go
you
back
know they
up.
get wider. The other two, see how much wider they get?
Oh, it's
and
because
that
it's
one's 'cause it's
it's
bent.
turned. It's
Yeah.
turned.
Yeah.
Turned.
It's
Turned.
turned, but it
It's
doesn't
turned.
look turned. It's turned.
I like that word. All right.
Whoever's watching this video will know where you're from,
Hey,
Kitty.
golly. Yeah, so what's wrong with her? Yeah, so I'll just widen it a little bit.
That's what it was.
And I'll come back with the highlight when that. Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah.
And then there's there is some other colors up underneath.
Right.
And again, we don't have to paint everything that's there, and it's really hard for me not to. I hadn't been paying attention to the time. How are we doing?
You're doing great. 'Cause
We're
I'm
doing
learning.
great because we're learning. That's right.
Don't stop.
Okay, don't stop. Okay, I have a magenta and an alizarin on my palette. So that's kind of what I'm going to use in the cooler end. And then I'm going to add the oranges and the yellows to these in the warmer side. So we'll see how it goes. All right, this. Again, I'm just, this is the magenta, kind of straight out of the tube. But I'm turning my brush.
That's a magenta?
Mm-hmm.
It's magenta of this high
Oh,
quality.
yeah. I mean, I'd have to see when you see it there. Can you see the?
Yeah, a little bit more.
magenta more. I don't have.
It's amazing how much it looks just like the photo. I would never be able to get it to match like that.
Hmm.
It's great.
All right, what I like about this brush too, I can go into little, I can turn it sideways and get it to go in little corners. And I'm just kind of looking to I'm not trying to paint each petal exact. I'm just trying to get the I'm looking at the shape of the shadow, and it actually connects in through here, so I'm going to obliterate that right there. And that connects here, gets skinnier here, connects there. All of this, see, is one tone. Get a little white in it. This might end up looking more like a pink rose, I don't know. But this is all, oh, that's a leaf right there. Forgot that one. But most of this is all in shadow. So because it's in shadow, it cannot be lighter in value. That's too light. So go back to my magenta. Maybe a little alizarin in there. Nope, not too much because it's darker. I can do the alizarin over here. And make it darker over here. It's in the shadow. Maybe that's not alizarin. I need to look at that. Anyway, purpley color. And alizarin's cooler than the others on the palette, so I'm looking.
Yeah, got that one. That's what I do now.
Do what?
Said that's when I do now.
The thing is, though, when it's like you said, Carrie, when colors are next to each other, they change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you can study your color charts all you want, but until you start putting them next to each other, then it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to put your paint onto the canvas, or okay. So that's, and let me go back and do that. I don't have enough darks in that, but I need to put that petal of green in there. Just a little light. I don't want to make it as bright as the photo. And while I'm there, I can do the curve of that. I don't even know if I like that. Let me back up. Actually, back up. I don't think that did anything for it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so here's, your artistic license. It's there, and I don't like it there. So get rid of it. I'm going to go back to dark. I don't think it helped. See, isn't that nice to have the permission to do that? Alright, I've got some green down below here that I didn't put in. I guess I thought I did, but it's not this one. I'm just going to cover this up. That's going to be green. I can just make it neutral to where it doesn't really matter where it's coming from.
Actually, doing that helped the curved line above it look better too.
Mm-hmm. This one and this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm liking the feel of this. Now, one thing I don't have on my flower right now is any green. And I need to put green in it. Green is a complement. See how lovely this red works with this green?
it's beautiful.
I need to put some green in it, not only to neutralize and tone down some of this. See, that's all one, that reads as all one shape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take some of the green, the dark green I have on my palette, and I'm going to go on top of that.
It makes the world a difference.
And it helps unify one into the other. If if you just have no colors that repeat in what you're doing, I don't know. It just doesn't read right because the colors, nature reflects
kinda
itself.
reflect, yeah.
Whatever, if you're doing a sky and you don't put some of that sky color in your land or water, it's not going to read right. That doesn't mean every color in the sky has to be there. Okay, this is where I'm gonna go ahead and lay in some of the more orangey tones. I'm gonna use orange rather than, whoops, there was some green on my brush. I'm gonna pick orange. This orange is fairly light, but I'm gonna pick orange. I'm trying to go more of the local color now. I added orange and yellow, kind of a peachiness, and ooh, that's too thick actually, but we're going to come back over with laying in where the initial light was with more of the local color.
What's there in nature?
And orange is one of the warmest color. Well, according to Marcia Savage, it's the warmest color on your color wheel because it's made with, say, press down, pull in, press down, pull in, press down, pull over, go in the direction. Okay, I've got too much light here. See how the dark, so I'm going to wipe the light off my brush. And I'm going to go back to what I had, and I'm going to fill that in higher up and make that edge skinnier. You can't see the differentiation in the photo of this. There's two petals back here. One's a little darker, so I'm going to just put it in there as though I can see it. I want to blur this way, blur that way.
Wow, that's really taking shape, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I want to come down here and blur. This is too fat. See how that's too fat? The light is too fat.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut in that the light of this petal
Right,
is too
okay.
fat. So I'm going to cut in the direction underneath. And so I'm pushing. It's a push and pull of the paint. If I want it to be skinnier, I'm going to come from one direction or the other. I don't. So this, if I want this to be skinnier over here, I come from this direction and push that in. If I want that, so sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, change the direction of my strokes. Now this light is too bright for where that is. See, this is all dark, so I'm going to pull some of that back this way. Just kind of lift it up. But then I want to catch a little bit of reflected light out there, but it's not going to be as bright. So I'll get a little bit of that orange that has a little pink in it, and just, oh, that's actually too bright. Let's take some of that off. Because it's sticking out further so it can hit the light. I'm going to come back through here with some dark to separate that a little bit. And the inside of this, oh well, close enough. The back end, there's a little bitty edge of that down here as it bends out. Can't really see it very well, but this is where you can overwork stuff. So I just need to just look at the shapes, get rid of the white. Sometimes you just have to just stop for a minute and just go through and just blur what's beside. I'm blurring the paint to where there is no white with just what's there.
My eye keeps going to the left side of the rose. You see where the light is, the yellow light here, and there's the little petal that goes that way. But then there's a line of red that looks like a petal from behind that comes up right here, where that one goes in, and this has some red that comes down
Right here?
right there.
Yeah.
And for some reason, looking at the painting and then looking at the picture and then looking at the painting, I'm missing that.
Yeah, this
and
is...
that's my tendency to do.
No.
No,
It gives
it's...
it some fatness. That
Yeah,
Right,
that needs
it
to be
needs some
fat. Yeah.
fatness.
Yeah.
And but honestly, that's the as you work the
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
the
Now it's
To see where
starting to
I-
come back.
yeah, well, but it's a push and pull, and so sometimes you do a stroke and you have to lift up. You do another stroke, you have to lift up. I'm not exactly sure what happens right in there. And again, I don't have a red. What's interesting again is I'm painting with a palette I'm not familiar with that much, and I'm looking down here and I don't have a warm red. That was the trouble that I found when I was painting plein air and I didn't have my ultramarine. I added that to this palette. So what I'm going to do is, I'm having a hard time getting what I want. Here's Cad Red. Cad Red is a very warm red. So, I'm going to add to it. Sometimes you don't have what you need. And I could do it, but I'm not getting the vibrancy that I
You
want.
gave me all those lavenders. I'm like, I need more than just one purple. Some of those are gorgeous.
But do you feel the warmth?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's wrong right there. All right, remember I got rid of all the what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to put the red everywhere. I'm trying to put, because see, some of this is in shadow. I do want that. That's where the light, trying to put where the warmth is. And that goes.
Yes.
Because I obliterated that earlier. But that really needs to be cooled down on the inside. So I need to get the cooler. Anyway, it's a push and pull, and I don't know if this is coming off. A little bit of highlight there. Might be a little too blue. Gotta back away. Oh, I'm missing a bunch. This is the agonizing part of painting flowers. It's like, okay, this. See, I'm missing this curve.
Can you see? Sure.
Yeah, no, I can see.
I wish I could develop that tiny little dab that she puts on. Mine always ends up being way too much.
You will.
Did you ever practice just doing that?
Mhm.
On like a piece of paper, just trying to get it.
I have
My
practiced.
hand shakes. But,
Me too. And I end up putting too much.
Then use a mall stick.
You
That's
just have the
something
lightest
pastels
touch.
have taught me, is to have a lighter touch.
Yeah.
oh wow, that looks gorgeous right in there now. What'd you just add, Carrie? A purple?
A pale pink.
Pale
pale
oh, at
pink.
the edges, yeah.
And, you know, this is where it's like, what do I need? Maybe not much.
Maybe not much.
You don't want to, I don't want to highlight everything. And over here, I want to keep darker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to overwork
It looks
I
beautiful.
feel like this is too thick of light in through here to be on the shadow side. So
That looks like the light's hitting
Flashes.
you.
I'm just going to come here and blur out to it.
Okay. at the very
So I'm
bottom.
coming here and flipping out to it.
Oh wow. That looks
I don't mind that.
cool.
Okay, one thing my eye is drawn to. Do y'all have a clue?
That one green that's coming
Yeah.
to the rose on the
Yeah, it's
left.
too bright. It's fighting and I don't have a good edge here. I need a stronger edge right there. That's a blur. That's a hard edge. That's a blur.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to come in because it's cool light. I'm going to try putting a little pale blue. I don't see it on my picture, but I'm going to. Okay, one thing when I backed up, that's too bright. That's pulling my eye there. And this edge between here and here is a sharp edge. I have a blur. So I'm going to just come back with a pale blue because it's light. I don't know if I like that or not. But blur that in. Let the wiggle of the. And I want to neutralize, so I'm taking a little bit of pink, cutting that down.
Wow.
What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Get enough stop?
Put your name on it, as Debbie would say.
Put my name on it.
Put your name
Okay, my
on it.
favorite way to
It's
put my
gorgeous.
name on it when it's wet.
I'm actually really glad you did this, even though it might have taken more time than you wanted to, because it was really cool watching that turn into a flower.
Yes.
It
Mhm.
looks exactly like the rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it didn't all film, I don't know what I did, but at least you got the last half.
The green light is still flashing.
Well, I started it again.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
I mean, because I looked and there wasn't anything on the screen, and I thought, why would the screen? But it might be also where it times out.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
what's-
still learning my.
What's amazing is how you blocked it in, because at first it looked like something I would paint. I mean, it was just color, all one color, and then when you started pushing and pulling with the lights
But
and darks.
That's what plein air is helping me with,
Mhm.
because if you don't block in, if you don't look for your lights. I mean, this was my lights right in here, and I wanted to save the lights.
Mhm.
And in plein air, they change. So if I don't find them fast and identify where they are, then it might not be there in 5 minutes. But, and then when I can block in thin coats
Yeah.
and know that you can paint over it. Now, if you're real soupy, you paint over it and it's just going to mush together and be mud. But remember when I was using an old brush, so I was kind of scumbling in, and then it gives you thin enough that you can actually paint on top.
Mm-hmm.
But I love also the fact that there's times when I just blurred something out, and I find that it's like, oh, okay, I like it now.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you take a photo of her
I have a photo of the person.
and finish it in the studio?
No,
You
that was,
finished it there.
well, actually, I did her from a photo because that was the day I was sick. That was the
Okay.
last day, and I'd been in the hospital the night before. So I went out when she did her demo, and she showed how she painted her, and then we had 2 models that we could take pictures of, and they stayed outside, but I couldn't stay out
Yeah.
in the heat. So I worked from a photo, but did it the same way we did
Right.
all the others. But yeah, it was it was fun. Okay, and just a reminder, you know, when you have these boards that I never thought I would use so much. You know, here's my test color. Can just wipe it off because it's that plastic. I don't think it went through. Well, maybe I actually have a hole in it now. How many times have I've used this so many times. And then I can frame this if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So now this isn't square,
Yeah.
but you know.
Right.
Anyway, okay, we're done.